This guitar returning to me has changed. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Now don't worry, this is not a drama episode tonight. I had been notified of the changes, but this is that other guitar that was traded in for that 70s Les Paul Custom. We documented this exact guitar about 10 months ago. It looked like this. It had the nice covered pickups with the pickguard, cool reflector knobs, and we compared the 50s and 60s mahogany top standards in both of their initial launch colors as well as the different pickups. Oh man, we even have the original Trogly signed fret guard in here. In case you missed that first episode, about a year ago, Gibson came out with these mahogany top standards. The original Les Paul Customs were actually crafted out of a single piece of mahogany and they just carved the top up. There are some Les Paul standards out there that were also crafted in a similar way, but for this new one, they just decided to put black binding on them to help them stand out on top of their new wood. And you either dig it or you don't. But what do you guys think about his modifications here? He's removed the pick guard and changed the pickups out into Dirty Fingers, but it's the ONYX series. I think those came out about a year ago. As far as I understand, it's just a special edition complete blacked out version, but there's also the newer Dirty Fingers SM. So I'll have to tear this guitar apart to see if we can verify which one we have in there, as well as document some of the other changes that he's made to this thing. So let's go ahead and head on over there now. Thankfully, I was able to uncover the truth, because if you go to the Gibson website and look at these new Dirty Fingers pickups, the back side of it has no markings at all. But thankfully on the actual production pickups, they do have the regular sticker, and this is marked as the ONYX series. I did a little bit more digging into their spec sheets. These are apparently the exact same as the current day production Dirty Fingers, outside of being completely blacked out. So you don't have the golden Dirty Fingers logo, you've got it black. You have the black chrome pole pieces instead of silver or gold. Even the height adjustment screws and base plate is a black chrome. So if you're looking for that all darked out look, that's why you would buy the ONYX series. However, the SM, apparently that stands for single magnet, because the original Dirty Fingers design actually utilizes 3 ceramic magnets, which if I understand pickups correctly, usually you only have 2. So that's why they call them Dirty Fingers, because really hot ceramic magnets. Okay, it's all making sense now. Whereas the SM replaces that all with just one super ultra powerful magnet. So maybe one day we'll be able to document that. But hey, hopefully this video helps you understand the newer Dirty Fingers. But we can check their readings just to be sure. 15.58 in the bridge, neck 15.56, and they play together at 7.79. So yep, just as hot. And also special note, these are 4-conductor wiring, so you can technically coil split them if you wanted to. However, it doesn't look like he installed push-pull pots or anything like that. So we're just going to run them as regular today. Otherwise, things look about the same here. VE for Vintage Cherry, which is our color code, and then Les Paul Standard 60s Mahogany Top 2024 model year. You can see that the mahogany is a separate piece that they put on the body, so it's not 50s construction as far as just being a straight up single piece. Next, bridge and tailpiece time. It's all our usual stuff here. ABR1 bridge mounted on Nashville-style posts. And we have the original API branded tailpiece. However, it is currently set up as a top wrap, and you can see that's given that a unique patina to it. I've always been a big fan of speed knobs, so I'm alright with that change. It matches our complete black binding, but my favorite thing about this one has always been this ringy wood grain right there. And I feel those speed knobs help you see that a bit more, because those reflectors kind of distracted from it. Speaking of distracting from it, the pickguard was completely removed, and if you go back to the previous episode, the screw hole for the top of the pickguard was very apparent when you took it off. He actually bought a lacquer touch-up pen and inserted that inside of it. That way it would be a little bit more hidden. And then I'm happy to announce, I don't know what he did over here, but he was able to get that matted finish area over where it had reacted to the felt pad on the bottom side of the pickguard to disappear. I don't see it anymore. But he did say he had some wet sanding experience. So maybe he did something like that and forgot to tell me. Or maybe it was just a polished job away. But I really don't see it anymore. Actually, you know what? I take that back. If you get into the light just right, you can just barely see it. But that's definitely a lot less noticeable than before. Overall, I don't think this one was played as much as that Dave Mustaine flying V of his. Like, are there a few nicks and dings in the top? Sure. But I don't see as much crazy wear on this one. However, I do want you to know he replaced the toggle switch tip with a metal nickel one. I really enjoy the metal switch tips. They're not going to break in transit. I think his thought process was this now matches our bridge and tailpiece. And he also matched it with new locking strap locks over here of the Schaller variety. But here you can see that black binding, which works pretty well on the red model. But moving on from our two-piece mahogany top with mahogany body, we've got a mahogany neck with a mahogany, nah, just kidding, rosewood fretboard. Something I always felt about this one is it had some pretty extreme tooling marks on it. As far as the frets, I do notice a very small trace amount of wear, but after a mild polishing, most of it's hidden again. Today I measure 1.7 inches and 2.09 at the 12, 0.81 first fret neck depth. Only 0.9 by the 12th. That's right, this is the 60s neck variety. There's that neck profile at the 1st and 12th fret. How could I forget? It's very slim and C-shaped. But I do like the black binding along the edge of the neck with the white side markers. Very easy to see. Face of the headstock doesn't look like anything changed up here, but we do have a blank truss rod cover on it with our mother of pearl Gibson logo and Les Paul model silkscreen and Grover tuners. As far as the nut, it looks like it's been lubricated and maybe slightly finely shaped. As I was putting the strings back on just now, though, I noticed one new blemish. Do you guys see this by the tuner? It looks like the pressure from that tuner is starting to delaminate the lacquer right there. One day that probably will eventually chip, just so you know. Alternatively, if you take that tuner off, you might be able to wick some really fine super glue in there to get it to go back down, but I'll leave that up to the next buyer. Moving on to the backside, let's take a look at our control cavity. Any pot changes or caps? Nope, that all looks the same. Gibson branded. However, our pickups, as I was telling you earlier, are 4-conductor. All he's done is taped off the 2 coil splitting leads. So if you wanted to put push-pull pots in here, you would just take those off, connect them where they need to go, and then you'd have coil splitting. Because currently we've only used 2 of the wires. And that's true for the neck and the bridge pickup. If you're wondering why this one has blue painter's tape right there, that was just his marking as he was sending it through. So he didn't accidentally solder the bridge pickup to the neck controls. Happens all the time. That's a good way to differentiate them. I don't see any solder burn marks this time, though. Again, I'm just ragging on him for that, and mainly as a full disclosure type thing, because some people are really bugged out by that. You could get a return if you don't disclose that. He also said he replaced the output jack plate with a metal one, so he didn't have to worry about it breaking. And maybe it's just spooky season talking, but I did not see this last time. Does anybody else see a bat right there in the wood grain? Like it's hanging upside down. You can just barely make out its ears and its face, and then it's hugging its body. A little bit easier to see from this direction. That's cool for our Halloween spooky season. Otherwise, we can run through our edges. Looking good here. Just have your existing hole from a pick guard and look around this side before we run up the back side of the neck. I'd say he took great care of this for the 9 months or so that he owned it. But this serial number dates to 2024. It's got its original Grover tuners. 232nd day of the year. Initial batch production number 234. Made in USA. We'll do a blacklight test just for fun because he was curious, would that lacquer touch-up pen glow differently? Since we haven't added a new clear coat, I wasn't expecting like a vastly different glow. But if you know to look for it, you can see it glows a little bit differently. But that bare mahogany inside the screw hole never had a finish to begin with. It just glows a little bit more red. Although I do find this fascinating. The headstock is glowing quite a bit. But I don't think I ever blacklight this guitar brand new, so I'm not sure if that's just something to do with the fiber peghead board reacting to the finish. Or maybe he had this someplace that had a lot of sunlight just hitting the headstock. The rest just has a very, very mild light glowing, and you can see some sweat absorption here. All said and done, in its current configuration, it is weighing 9 pounds, 13 ounces. Let's go ahead, plug it in, and hear how it sounds with the Dirty Fingers pickups. That's the thing about dirty fingers. These things are hot. You have to watch your pick attack. It can be soft. That's true for any pickup, but especially this set. But if you have a heavy hand, you can always work your volume knobs too. So roll them down to 6.5, you can get as funky as you like. That's a pretty dark neck pickup. It's interesting. It gets really warm and round though when it's rolled all the way up. It's almost like it's got a bit of tone control when they roll the volume down. Not sure I like the rolled down tones on that one. Let's try that with our bridge pickup. That was a clean channel, just in case you forgot. up a bit. So there we go, a re-review of the Mahogany Top 60s Neck Cherry. What are my final thoughts on its new modifications? I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it more the second time than the first, but that's because I was trying to compare two different guitars. That was a completely different episode. I just got to sit back, chill out, relax, and enjoy it for what it is. Going back to the roots of the channel. Pretty much the only thing bad I can say about it is it's pretty heavy example if you don't like that. And it also reminds me of the LPM, I believe it was called, from like 2015. They had a very similar look to this, but hey, we actually have binding on this and the mother of pearl Gibson logo. It is standard through and through. And we got that hog top. As far as the ONYX Dirty Fingers, yeah, it's just cosmetic. I didn't notice anything too crazy different from regular Dirty Fingers that I've tried. They're just a really hard attack and pickup. You gotta know how to tame them. Because if you just pick up a guitar equipped with one of these and start trying to play like a normal guitar, you might find that they're a bit too harsh. But remember, tame those puppies. Watch your pick attack. It's even more important on a guitar like this to think about things like that. So if you're interested in being the next owner of this particular one-of-a-kind modified version of this guitar, you can find it for sale on my website. And also remember, if you're looking to trade into a brand new guitar via my NGD service, sometimes, as long as you understand that I'm a dealer and I have to make money on the guitar, it's got to be worth my time, I can take your old instruments in as trade to help turn them into something new, especially if you're just trying to swap Les Pauls or something. But all right, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed. It's time to get him his new guitar, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow on the next one. Take care.